Hey guys, welcome back to Freestyle Unlimited. We are nearing the end of this jammer repair, so we are going to jump right into it today. We are going to be taking a look at how our reinforcement plate looks now that it's had some time to cure. The epoxy is all dry, and we can take a look and see if there's any additional stuff we need to add. I will say, off camera, I did go ahead and go through. I did fill in a couple of these holes. I did run the riv nuts. So all of it is done. We're going to recap exactly what I did, and we will move forward and we will start reassembly. So as I said previously, we did get this plate installed. The epoxy looks really good. I did already go over, I cleaned up some of the edges just with a little flap disc wheel. And it is actually looking really, really good. Our crack is fully filled in. We've got a reinforcement on the bottom, reinforcement on the top, and then we have our reinforcement plate. So we can pull on this all we want and it doesn't flex at all. So I think we're gonna be pretty good. I am gonna go in, I'm gonna go ahead and drill all of our little holes out for all of our brackets. We're gonna test fit some of our brackets and see if there's any additional stuff we need to do. The other thing we are going to be doing is I've got this new hood seal, which is actually going to be a little bit thicker than our old one, which will be perfect because of the fact that we have probably about maybe a 1/16 of an inch thickness, maybe a little bit more. I actually don't know how thick this metal is, but we are raised up a little bit, so we are going to have to compensate for the hood seal with that. So this should fit well. We're going to go ahead and clean this whole thing up, get those holes drilled, probably vacuum out the whole hole, and then we will go ahead and prep a little bit for our hood seal. And I should have some contact cement, so we shouldn't have to buy any. So I've already gone ahead, I've double checked the size that we need for our drill bit. Shouldn't be too much effort to get through here. Just like that. We're gonna go ahead and do that for all of our small holes here. Alright, so now we've got all of that smoothed out. Go ahead and grab our brackets here. I'm really, really hoping that this will fit. And, ooh, I think we're going to have just enough room on the bottom end. Let's go this way and see how many threads we've got. We are going to be golden here. I'm excited about this. Alright, so we can go ahead and run this one. This is going to be our main hood seal. Oh, this is working out great. So we're going to go ahead and come back in with our 10 mil lock nuts. And secure on our hood seal, or our hood latch. So the other thing we need to look at is we have this other one that will come through our pole here and will come back down through our pole. So I'm wondering if I can even just, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit, and we're gonna run a 10 mil through here to just get a bolt through there. I'm thinking we'll literally just come back through with like a 10 millimeter or an M6 and run it flush like that and be done with it. I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do this off camera. I'm gonna hit this with the grinder, grind this flat. Alright, so I've gone ahead, I've cleaned that hole up a little bit. So we are going to get our handle pole back up and mounted here. We should be good to go to bolt everything up. But the first thing I want to do, because we have the space right now, is we are going to come in and we are going to do our hood seal. Well, after some troubleshooting here, it has become quite apparent to me that this stuff is going to be way too thick. So I've already gone through and cut the actual piece in half, and it is still not sealing well. So I have run to the hardware store, and I've got some foam that is a little bit thinner, so I'm hoping that this will work. Alright, so I have gone ahead and I've cut that piece in half. This might actually work pretty darn well. So we're going to just overlap in that corner there. This stuff might actually be the ticket to what we need. Probably could have cut it a little bit better, but it is just going to be short. And we're going to see how the hood sits. It's kind of the issue I've been having is actually getting the hood to sit and seal well. But that's actually looking pretty darn good. It's definitely got a little bit of a dip here, and I think the back is a little bit messed up. But that's not horrible. Definitely not sealing in the back. So we do have a decent seal most of the way around. There's a little dip here where there was a fold. I'm wondering if this stuff will kind of expand a little bit as we leave it to breathe. That's not bad though. That's a lot better than I was anticipating actually. So the biggest part is just getting this back part to seal, where we've got our hood seal back here. I knew this was going to be a problem. Just hoping it wouldn't be that big of a problem. I'm almost leaning towards just reusing our stock seal because it wasn't bad. I mean, it is pretty worn out, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm wondering if I can just order another one of these. That would probably be the easiest course of action. But maybe we'll just throw some double-sided tape in here temporarily and run this, because this is not bad. I'm kind of liking where this is going. It fits decently well. Looks like it'll seal up okay. I would just like to get a continuous piece around this back edge. I think I'm going to be using this 3M 300 LSE. I don't really know what that stands for. This is going to be temporary, just for the time being. But this stuff actually works pretty well with foam. So I'm going to lay a layer of it down in our seal groove. Just like this. This will at least get us a temporary hood seal for the... So now we're going to come back in with our foam. I'm going to try and get our back to be our thickest part so that it is nice and consistent. So we're just going to come right here, stick this down, tuck our corner a little bit, and just kind of feed the foam in here. That is going to be our temporary hood seal. So we'll run that for now. And then we'll just double check, make sure our hood fits, which I have a feeling that it probably will. So our back edges here tucked a little bit. Just like that. Nice and clipped in. I think that's going to be pretty darn good. And then we're going to come off. Oh yeah, that's great. We can see the seal all the way around. That's going to be good, and especially on this back edge here. So I think we're looking pretty darn good here. I'm going to leave the hood on here for a minute. That's looking pretty darn good. Looks like we're seated, or at least most of the way seated, all the way around. Could maybe use a little more thickness on this side edge. Wonder if I should even just try and run a second piece here. I think we'll be okay though. It'll hold well enough. It'll seal for at least a couple rides until we get a new hood seal on the way. But I'm feeling pretty good about that. So let's go ahead and move on. We're going to install our handle pole now. This should be really easy, really straightforward. I'm going to get some of these hoses kind of tucked back in here. We'll get all this junk out of here. All of our plastic that we put in here to catch all the drips and whatnot. Beautiful. So we are looking pretty good, actually. A little bit of epoxy in a couple spots, but nothing too crazy. So let's go ahead and get our breather back in here. Hopefully it's going to fit, and if it doesn't, that would be really unfortunate, but I don't think it will. It's just a little bit too big. Unless I can get them to screw in. Nope. I might have to grind this out a little bit actually to get that in. I don't even really feel like I need this though. It's got the gas tank vent, which we would definitely want to use. And this is our main air inlet. So we probably want to get this back in there. I think that's probably a good idea. But I'm wondering if I can just take the hose off entirely and just run, there's a rivet here, and just run our intake tube. Wouldn't really be against that. Regardless if the water's getting in here, it's getting into the hole, so it doesn't really matter where. And then we can run our little tube here to our vent. Yeah, let me just take this off. I can always put it back on if I need to. So we're just gonna maybe drill it out. Or just do that. Sweet. So now we can come in here. How are these even in here? What in the world? Gotcha. Okay. So we've got our little hoses here, which I'm gonna see if I can just pull one of them out. I'm trying to do this is actually here. Just gonna leave that for now. So this should fit. That looks beautiful. Alrighty. So I'm thinking we should run some riv nuts here, get some M6 bolts, call it a day. I think that's a good idea. So we're gonna run some M6 riv nuts. I might have to drill this back out just a little bit so that we can mount our breather tube inlet. And this will allow us, I'm actually going to replace this aluminum one because this is all falling apart. Probably going to replace it with something similar to this. I've got some ducting from my race car. So we're going to do that and then I'll come back to you. All rubber grommets that were seized up with the bolts stuck inside of them. So we should be able to riv nut all of this stuff, get all this lined up, and then I should be able to get this in here as a breather. And this will allow us to connect our fuel tank vent hose, which I just had somewhere down here, right here, to the bottom to allow our fuel tank to vent out of the ski. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab that ducting hose got here. So this will actually be pretty much a perfect fit. And we'll just run this up into the handlebar. So I'm probably going to cut a stock length of it, the same as the old foil one. So we'll just go here. We'll cut it right about here. This stuff was not cheap. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this so that we can put a clamp on and get our air pickup into the top of our ski there. But that's going to work out really well. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back. We'll riv nut this stuff, and we'll bolt everything back together, and we should be good to go. All right, so I've already got the riv nuts kind of started in here. Just got to tap them in. Might need to upsize just a little bit, actually. Okay, now these should all fit. Just like that. Perfect. And number 4. Sweet. So, because these are so long, I do have my riv nut gun, which is back here. But to actually get to the threads on them, I have to start it with a bolt so that I can actually get it to start pulling through. So I've got a bolt with a bunch of washers on it to kind of make it a little bit easier, just to get it to the point where I can get the riv nut gun to grab the threads. So I'm going to run this in. I'm going to hold the actual nut from the bottom. Just a little bit to keep it from spinning. Just like that. And then we'll run that down with my 10 mil just to get it to the point where it starts to pull the riv nut. So we'll keep it flush. Start pulling it. That's probably gonna get us where we need to be. We'll back this off, and then we'll get our M6 riv nut gun set up on here. I had to do this for all of the other ones as well, just because of how long it was. So get this backed off. Get these washers out of here. Yeah, they're looking pretty well squished. I don't know. That looks pretty rough, honestly. Not really sure how much grab we got on the back end, but it has expanded, so that's good. We're gonna go do the same thing on here, and then I can run this in here just a little bit. Sometimes they're not perfectly straight, which is cool. So get that screwed in there. Maybe a little bit more. Squeeze it. Oh, what happened? I just pull the threads out. I don't really know what happened there. I think I just ripped the threads out. Shoot. That's no good. See if we can't go in a little bit further, maybe. Felt like it was definitely going in there. Yeah. Yep, I just pulled all the threads out. Alright, well, we're going to have to drill that one back out. So maybe we just do them by hand and then get our nut in there. Because I feel like this is not, they're not going all the way through is the issue. So let's see if I can at least get these to lock in a little bit. don't really need to hold a whole lot of weight. If I can at least get 2 of these in, I think we'll be okay. I just have to run a longer bolt to get actually down to the threads, but that's not a big deal. Just get 2 of these set, and we're pretty much done. We'll just start reassembly. This thing will be ready to rip back out at the lake. The only thing I might have to consider next is I might have to repair some of the holes on the outside on the actual pole. So we'll have to take a look at that once we get there. Yeah, these look like they're doing okay. So let's get these other 2 done. Good. That one's looking pretty good. And let's get our last one here. Hi!
You gotta go in the water again.
What do you mean? Lady, you're doing all right here. Okay, so now that we've got that situated, we can go ahead and get our vent in. I might have to upsize these holes a little bit too. We should be able to come right back in here, get our 4 bolts started, just like that. Alright, so we've got our tube on now. I've got my gasket here for my pole. Let's go ahead and place our pole up here. We're just going to feed this. Oh, before we do that, I'm going to dig out our wasp nest. Holy crap. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good size wasp nest. A couple dead wasps on there. I think there was just the one. Yeah, I think that's it. So we're good. So now we're just going to take our pole. I'm going to feed this in here. Rotate us back up here. And this is kind of the moment of truth to see if this is going to fit and work for us. So that, I think that's going to work. We're just going to have to grind out. So if we look down here, I am contacting one of our front reinforcement plate bolts, which I should have just put it out at the corner, but I didn't. So that's not good. I guess I could probably just going to clearance this a little bit. Other than that, all of our other stuff seems to be lining up pretty darn well. So if we can just get those fronts situated, I think we'll actually be able to clear for the most part. All right, so I've hit those front leading edges with the grinder a little bit. We're gonna go back on here and see if we can get it to fit now. Get our hose up. That's situated just like that. I think that's gonna be it. Get a few fasteners in here and see how things are looking. That's it. That is our fix. We are all good. So I'm going to clean up here a little bit, get some of this old hardware out of here, and we're going to get these seats back on. And that, my friends, is the jammer repair complete. So let's get this hood on here and take a look at what we've got here. Hood fits. So that is going to be it for today's video. We are finally finished up with the reinforcement work on the jammer pole. And I mean, this thing is solid. We have zero movement coming up out of here. Even when I'm pulling on this really hard, we have zero play, zero movement. So we are in great shape. That is exactly what I was hoping for. We will have to go do some lake testing to see how it handles impacts from waves and spins and jumps. But I have a really, really good feeling that this is going to hold up well. So I'm not that worried about it. We'll just have to find out. And if we need to redo it, we will. That's what we do here on Freestyle Unlimited. We just try and keep these skis on the water and enjoy the vintage jet ski lifestyle. It is a great time. Obviously, it's not for the faint-hearted. They are a lot of work sometimes, especially when you're buying them this cheap. But that is going to be it for today's video. If you guys have questions or comments about how I did my fiberglass work or the repair in general, drop them in the comment section below. I know it's not typically the best way to do it. Normally I would take it down to the bare glass and do all that, but I really just want to get this thing back on the lake, and the fiberglass serves as just kind of a minimal improvement on top of the steel plate. So the steel plate should keep it in place. We'll see, but that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys are enjoying the WaveJammer build, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot more content this summer. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching the WaveJammer repair, and we'll see you on the next one.